Man, I've wanted to talk about this topic for a while. For a while now, okay? Listen, okay. I have a really it just this irks me, bro. Like it just annoys me that this is how the system works. Okay? So, today I'm going to be talking about the centralization of online gaming. Okay. So, first of all, I want to say that I believe in ownership. Of course, that's a basic fundamental of everything is ownership. It's owning the thing that you pay for, right? I believe in owning the games that I pay for. That's why for most of my games, I always try to get them on a platform like GOG.com, where the company behind GOG.com respects its customers, trusts its customers, and so that's why they make it so you actually own the game once you buy it. You own the game files themselves. Like nobody can take that away from you. Okay. Even if the game is removed from the GOG library, it's still yours. The game files are still yours. The game is DRM free, so that means that the DRM cannot, take away the ability to play your game because there is no DRM. Okay, so you can play offline, you can play on another computer, you can play anywhere at any time for any reason. It's yours. See how great that sounds? See how good that makes you feel to hear that, right? So I want to ask something real quick that's really just been bothering me. And I'm talking specifically about games, for example, that are cooperative, but not massively multiplayer. Okay, for games that are like, for example, Arc Raiders, that's a massively multiplayer game. Fortnite, massively multiplayer game. For those experiences, I understand why the system is like that. For games that connect maybe 9 or 10 people together, 9 or 10 friends together, so that they can play, they can enjoy it, and they can have some fun. Why do we need a company's infrastructure for that? Why don't we host our own servers? You know, why is it that, let's say I want to play with three of my neighbors, so in total 4 people. There's 4 people. The way the system works now is, for example, let's say all 4 of your friends, or all 4 of the people in this scenario, me and my 3 neighbors, we all bought a game through a platform like Steam. Great platform. I love Steam. Even though when you buy a game on there, it is a license. And they do tell you that, and they're transparent about that. They can take that game away whenever they want. But I still love Steam. It's a great platform. Very respectful to its customers. So all 4 of the people in this scenario bought the game through Steam. The game is, let's say, Bird Game 3, right? The game is Bird Game 3, and it is a cooperative game where you, I don't know, play as a bird and go, like, have a little bit of fun and fight each other as birds, bro. Right? That's cool. But here's the issue that really bothers me. My neighbor's right there. My other neighbor is at the house next to his house, and my other neighbor is at the house next to his house. So why, instead of just connecting all of our computers together, like, you know, uh, like LAN kind of does, you know LAN, like the local network, when you are connected to the same router, you can just connect this straight together, just directly. No, nothing, right? My neighbors are right there. Why do we need to connect to a server in another city, right? Why do I need to connect to a server in another city? My neighbor needs to connect to a server in another city. My other neighbor needs to connect to a server in another city, and my other neighbor needs to connect to a server in another city, just so that we can play together. I know we have the capacity to just play directly, you know? Like I know we have the capacity to not have to connect to these servers, right? Where you know the most likely thing is that there's probably going to be censorship. There's probably going to be a couple of restrictions on the way that how you play the game, right? Because it's the company's policy or whatever. Cool, the company that runs the server. Why don't we just connect directly? You are spending millions of dollars and a bunch of electricity on that server when we could all just connect directly. I know our computers have the capacity to do that. Even our phones have the capacity to do that. Why don't we? like, like, listen, I played through the entire Subnautica and Subnautica Below Zero story with my brother. And you're probably asking yourself, well, hold on, Glimmerant. You're already losing your mind. You're going crazy. You're getting dementia now. Subnautica and Subnautica Below Zero do not have multiplayer. They don't have any servers. They don't have any of that stuff. They don't have any infrastructure for that. I played multiplayer with my brother through mods that added multiplayer functionality to both games. With no infrastructure, there's no server out there, from what I know. There's no server out there that we're connecting to. There's no Subnautica server. There's no Subnautica Below Zero server. It is a community made mods that add functionality, multiplayer functionality to both of these games. The mod for Subnautica, the multiplayer mod that adds multiplayer to Subnautica, is called, I think it's called Nitrox, Nitrox, and that's X, like, X marks the spots, bro. You know what I mean? Nitrox. And then for Subnautica Below Zero, it's literally just called Subnautica Below Zero multiplayer mod. And they're extremely simple. Subnautica Nitrox, you download an app, it detects where you have the game files downloaded, it uses those game files, you press launch inside of the Nitrox app, and then boom, there's your modified game with multiplayer support. Now you can make a server, you can join a server, and sure, there is a little bit of setup. It took me like 5 minutes to set up Nitrox because when you go and you know use something like Nitrox, you need to do something called port forwarding, which I didn't do because I used something called Radman VPN, which is a virtual LAN network. It's a virtual LAN system where it basically connects your friend and you and tells both of the computers, hey, we're in the same network. Don't worry about it. And then boom, that's seamless. That's smooth right there. We just connect together. We played the game, and you would think, well, hold on, Glimmerant. Okay, all right, fine. So you got the server working, cool. But you must have had like lagging and bugs and weird stuff happening, right? No, no. So then, boom, for Subnautica Below Zero, for the second game in, I mean, Subnautica's now it's like a franchise because there's the original game Subnautica, Subnautica Below Zero, and then Subnautica 2 that's coming out pretty soon. For Subnautica Below Zero, it was even simpler than that. I downloaded an app. It detected the game files on my computer. I clicked play on the app. It launched me into a modified version of the app of the game Subnautica Below Zero using the game files that I have on my computer, and there's multiplayer functionality. So now with the Subnautica Below Zero multiplayer mod, you don't even have to create a server, right? You don't have to go through the hassle of using something like Radman VPN to create a virtual LAN network. You don't have to go through the hassle of setting up a server. Now, I will say this, with Subnautica Nitrox, there is more customization to it. With the Subnautica Below Zero multiplayer mod, it's very straightforward. You create or load into your world. You go into the pause menu. You get a 6-digit code. In that 6-digit code, you share it with your friend. Your friend puts that 6-digit code on their side. That's it. That's it. They're connected. Very simple, very straightforward, very smooth. I didn't have any problems with these mods at all. Mostly because, with years of community support, obviously it's going to be stable. Of course, right? Subnautica, the original Subnautica, has been out for years now. Subnautica Below Zero also been out for years. So they have a lot of, you know, community support, and they're very stable. They're very stable mods, but they are so smooth, and there's no connection to a server at all, right? So if a server is down, let's say for example, let's do a hypothetical, right? Let's imagine in a very bad world, very terrible world, Subnautica was an always online game. Oh, I know. We're dreaming of nightmares here. I know, but just hear me out. Subnautica was an always online game. It had multiplayer functionality, but it was always online, and it needed constant connection to the Subnautica servers. What's the problem here? When those Subnautica servers go down for maintenance, maybe they had an attack, maybe whatever it may be, man. The servers go down. You cannot play your game. Maybe for a couple hours, for a couple of days, maybe even for a couple of weeks. You know, you can't play the game that you paid full price for, right? So that's why I think it's so important that we, the people, own the servers to the games that we play. Because the companies who own the servers, they don't play the games. We do. Right? The players that bought the game for full price. Okay? We should be able to create our own private servers and connect directly with, our people, with our friends. We shouldn't need to connect to a server. We shouldn't need to use an external infrastructure. We should have control of all that. You know, because when we don't have control of that, that just means that the company has a an unmoderated amount of power over the player. That means that the game that you paid $60 for and that you love, well, unfortunately, the game's always online, right? The company who made the game, the developers, the publishers, whatever it may be, they want to move on to a new project. So what do? They shut down the servers so that they can focus all of their funding on this new project. You can't play your game anymore. So why not? I'm just gonna I'm gonna give an idea here. Okay, let's not go crazy. Why not give the servers to us? You know, like okay, cool. Stop renting all those big servers in the major cities. That's fine. All right, stop with the servers. It's cool. It's cool. It's all right. Just give us the tools to make our own servers. You know, to run our own little private servers so that we can play the game. Even if even if I'm the only person in the world that wants to play this specific game, I paid full price for it. I should be able to play it no matter what. You know, that is the world that I want to live in, man. Where game companies give the community the tools to keep the game alive for as long as the community wants. I'm not saying that the game company needs to like give the IP to the community so that the community can go and create their own games and projects with that IP. It's fine if you want to keep the IP. Like it's fine if you create a cool character or a cool world and you want to keep ownership of that world. But we find that world cool. We find that character cool. Let us at least interact with it. You know? Like not take it, but interact with it. Play the game. You know? Like I wish we were living in that sort of society, man. Where in the gaming world, the community had more power over what they owned, you know, so that we can be, less powerless when a community says, not a community, a company says, well, listen, guys, we're gonna stop funding this game, so servers are shutting down, and we know that you paid full price for it, but it's whatever, guys. We're moving on to the next thing. And that's just so dumb, man. It's just so stupid, dude. It's such a headache, bro. Like, I'm tired of all of this, like, oh, but what you bought is actually a license, so it's not actually yours, so they can actually take it away from you, and they can tell you, hey, we're the company who created the game, and we own everything, and you own nothing, so thank you for your money. Like, that's so dumb. That's so stupid. I'm tired of living in that gaming world, man. Like I'm tired of it. I want to own the games that I buy. That's why I buy from GOG, right? GOG, man, they respect their customers. They trust their customers, right? They give you the game files, DRM free. They give you ownership over what you buy, which is like a crazy concept to these other companies nowadays. But for me, it's not a crazy concept. It's basic mutual respect. Like, you respect your customer's going to respect you right back. That's why Steam is so loved. They're not a monopoly, and sure, they do have anti, anti-competitive like things here and there, but that's not the reason why they're the biggest PC game market. It's because they respect their customers. That's why they're like that. They give their customers insane deals. Their support is really good. Steam support is amazing, man. It's incredible. But even then, man, you don't own the games that you buy from them. That's why I try to like. It's convenient to just have all your games in one place. I'll agree with that. It's convenient. It's very convenient. I would like to have all my games on Steam, but if I had all my games on Steam, you know, tomorrow they can take all that away. I don't own the game files. The games that I own are not DRM free. The DRM can say, "Hey, listen, we're cutting off your access to this game because we just don't support it anymore, or Steam doesn't support it anymore, whatever it may be." They can just take it away. They can take it away tomorrow, and I won't be able to play it. You know what I mean? And it's dumb. It's dumb, man. It's dumb. It gives me a headache every time I think about it, man. Yeah, something needs to change, dude. Something needs to change. And obviously, you can vote with your wallet, right? And you can do a lot of things. You can diversify where you get your games from. I personally, when there's a new game release or when I just want a game, I first look for it on GOG. Always. I first look for it on GOG and try to get it on GOG because that means they can't take it away. The DRM cannot say, "Hey, we're cutting off access to this game because we don't want you to play anymore." But I paid the full price for it, so wow, very cool, guys. They can't do any of that. Okay, GOG cannot take my game away, even if the game is taken off of the GOG website, off of the GOG store, right? I still have the game files. They're mine forever. Until I delete them, they're mine. You know? This is so cool, bro. I wish stuff was like that, where you just bought stuff and it was yours. like it's a crazy concept to say this in 2026. I wish we could just buy stuff and then it's ours. That's crazy. That's crazy that that's a wish and not reality. It's crazy that it's a wish. It's so what? What are you talking about? But anyways, man, I think we, the community, should own the game servers that we play on because we play. We're the ones who play, not the community, not the community, not the company. Okay, bro, I'm already getting a headache. My brain is actually melting from thinking about all this because I'm very dumb and not very smart, and so if I think for longer than 5 minutes, my brain starts to melt. Anyways, we the community should own our stuff. That's the point I'm trying to make. Like we the people should own the stuff that we use and we pay for. You know what I mean? And there's another thing here. When you get, like, for example, when you get a game from Steam and it's like a co-op game, you may think that you are actually like connecting with your friends directly because maybe that game doesn't have any external servers. But there's one big thing here. It uses Steam's infrastructure. I think it's something called Steamworks to actually connect you with your friends. So you're still using an external tool, but it is very efficient. It is very cool. It is very cool of Steam to do that. But again, the ones who have power over that tool are not the community, it is the companies. It is Steam who has power over Steamworks and over the Steam infrastructure. So if they want to say, hey, listen, man, listen, buddy, we know you paid for this game, full price, but we don't want you playing with your friends anymore. Well, you can't really do anything about that because it's their infrastructure. And it just sucks. It just sucks. I think the community should own the tools to be able to create our own decentralized network of private servers because at the end of the day, we're just normal people, okay? We just want to play games and have fun with our friends and family because gaming is like it's bonding, dude. It's bonding. It's not just entertainment. It is bonding, bro. Like I bond with my brother through playing games because my brother lives far away. All right, and I can't just go visit him every single day, right? And I don't want to just call him every single day and talk to him a little bit and then hang up, right? I like playing with him because it's cool. It's a nice little way to spend time with him online, right? And I don't like it when a company can just be like, okay, well, listen, I know you paid for it and I know it's yours technically, but it's actually not yours, so we're just going to take that away from you, okay? Thank you, bye. I don't like that. I don't like that. So yes, the community should have the tools to create their own servers, their own private servers and just have their own decentralized network, right? I don't want it to be centralized around these companies, right? Like there are so many things that you wouldn't even think about that happens when you connect with somebody through a game, right? When you connect to somebody's lobby or something in like a multi co-op multiplayer game, you know, a lot of games they use stuff like Epic Online services. That's not even owned by Steam. And some Steam games use Epic Online services, which is owned by Epic Games, which is like a competitor of Steam. That's another thing. How? Why are you guys doing this? Like, I feel like at the end of the day, they're all working together, dude. Like that's what I feel like, man. At the end of the day, they got to be working together. I don't know, man. It's weird. It's weird. But yeah, some games use Epic Online services. Some games use like other type of infrastructure from other companies to connect you. It's too much. It's too much, man. It's too much. We got to change this, man. We got to make more multiplayer mods for games that don't have multiplayer functionality, for games that do have multiplayer functionality, but the community just wants to be able to own those servers. You know, they want to be able to own the games that they buy forever. Like that should be a basic right. And it's not, and it's crazy, but it should be a basic right. So keep making multiplayer mods for all types of games. All types of games. Maybe even like Fortnite, dude. Massively multiplayer, but I'm sure there's some weird way that somebody can create private servers for that after Fortnite dies, which listen, every game has to die, okay? Every game has to die. But it's still a cool piece of history, right? Fortnite was huge. Okay. Once it dies in a couple of years, I still want to be able to play it. It'd still be cool to play it. That's another thing is game preservation. It's cool that I'll be able to play Subnautica on in multiplayer with friends, even in the future, right? Because we have that Subnautica multiplayer mod that doesn't connect to any external servers or anything. It's just your computer connecting to your friend's computer. That's it. But anyways, if you know a little bit more about this, and if you know why we use this system, why the system is so weird in like the gaming world, then let me know down in the comments. I just wanted to kind of like yap about this a little bit because I don't know. It just feels it feels strange. It feels strange. Feels weird, man. But we need to start decentralizing, dude. We are too centralized. We are too centralized. I don't like that. I do not like that, man. I don't like that. We need decentralized networks. It's weird. It's very weird. Like I was playing. I actually said this in one of my the Spotter Digger Die episodes. I was playing Watch Dogs and Watch Dogs 2, and I finished Watch Dogs, the original Watch Dogs 1. Dude, the story amazing, man. Aiden Pierce and all that. Incredible game. I loved it, dude. And also I played Watch Dogs 2 a little bit, and I'm kind of like thinking about maybe I finish it, maybe not, but I really like Watch Dogs, the original one. And one thing about that game is that it shows you a future where cities and the city networks are centralized under one operating system, CTOS. And since they are centralized, anybody could come in and just attack one company, you know, or attack one system, City OS, and suddenly the entire city. The game is set in Chicago. Suddenly, the entire city goes down. You know, that is scary, dude. That is scary. That is terrifying, bro. Like, I hope we do not reach that future because it is bad. It is really bad. We need to decentralize. Like, we need to start decentralizing, man. But yeah, that's all I wanted to say for this video. So thank you so much for watching, man. If you enjoyed and you stayed until the end, then you know you can leave a like on the video. You can subscribe to me if you want to see more of me. I talk a lot, and that's about all I do. I talk a lot, and I talk a lot, and I play games while I'm talking a lot. So I talk a lot, yeah. And you can comment something. You can comment anything, but I want you to comment if you know more about this because I'm not very smart. Let me know, man. That'd be cool. That'd be awesome. But anyways, stay safe out there. Take care of yourself, and I will see you in the next video.